to my channel, Side Hustle Seattle. So first off, it will be a little bit echoey, so I apologize for that. So hopefully you can still hear me okay. But today I want to give you a little bit of a different video and kind of show you my reselling process. For some of you who may know, I like to resell sneakers on the side. It's like my casual side hustle, if you will, mainly because I love shoes. Like I've always been into sneakers, and it's easy. Quite frankly, it is really easy. But when it comes to me and reselling, typically I like to sell the shoe right away. So if I get a shoe that I have no intention of wearing and I only got to make a profit, as soon as I get it in the mail, I'm almost always selling it the next day within a couple of days. Now, selling a shoe right away can be good and it can be bad, right? It's good because I get the money back that I put into it right away, and maybe I can sell the shoe before prices start to dip. Because if a bunch of people are also getting the shoe and selling it first can sometimes help you beat the dip in resale price. But on the other side, sometimes holding a shoe can be beneficial, right? Like if you feel like there's a shoe that just came out that over time is gonna go up in value, just like with anything that goes up in value over time, then you may wanna hold on to it a little bit longer to see if you can maximize the profits. And so because I always sell right away, I decided like since the beginning of this year or whatever, that I was going to hold on to every shoe. Didn't matter what the shoe was, I was just gonna hold on a little bit longer than I typically would. So, you know, a couple weeks, a couple months, whatever it looked like, just to see what happens. But now I'm at a place where I have so many shoes, and like my closet is not big. I have like 15, 16 pairs of shoes, between shoes that I got with the intention of reselling and shoes that I got, actually I bought resale for the intention of actually wearing, and I never wore them. So now I need to just get rid of them. And so I wanted to bring you along my journey of reselling these shoes so you can kind of see my profits, and see, learn from my mistakes. I did make a lot of mistakes going through this process, and some good takeaways, I should say. So if you're reselling, hopefully you can learn from it. If you're not into reselling, hopefully it's just a good video. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So for me, I typically learn about shoes and when they're dropping and all of that from an app called Soul Retriever. So Soul Retriever is an app that you can get on your phone. You actually have to pay, it's like $6.99 a month or whatever, but it has like literally every shoe that you could think of. It has the all the raffles that are launching, you know, in your state, in your area, nationwide. It has restock alerts. It has like just pretty much all the information you can think about to help you get a shoe is on that app. So that's the app that I've been using for about maybe 8 months now. I use that and a combination of like Twitter and other stuff to find out when shoes are dropping, where they're dropping, so I can give myself the best chances to actually get the shoe. Of course, a lot of these shoes are very limited, so I may not always get them, which is fine, but it's a numbers game a lot of times. Just like fill out as many raffles as you can, put your name in the hat as much as you can, and so that way you maximize your chances of actually getting the shoe itself. Now, if you're interested in the app, I dropped a link in the description just so if you're looking to sign up, you can. I think there's a wait list for the app, so you can't just like go on the app store and then sign up. But feel free to click the link, and I think it pushes you up the wait list or whatever the case may be. So when it comes to actually selling the shoes, I have a few different places that I actually like to list it. And for me, if I want to sell shoes quickly, I pretty much list them on all of them just to maximize my chances, right? And so I have kind of like categories, I guess. So I have my like typical shoe reselling sites. So that's GOAT and that's StockX. The way these sites work is you send your shoe to GOAT or StockX. They have an authenticator, so somebody who authenticates the shoe. If your shoe is authentic, it then gets sent to the buyer, and then you get your payout after it is authenticated. Reason being, some of these are really high value shoes. As you know, there's a lot of fake shoes and unauthentic shoes and handbags and, you know, hype accessories that are out there in the world. And so this is their way of trying to give people legitimate items. And so I use those a lot for shoes. I also do Poshmark and Mercari. Those you probably have heard of before. And for Poshmark and Mercari, it's just a basic place to resell pretty much anything. So you can do shoes, yes, you can do clothes, accessories, but you can also do things like electronics and perfumes and whatever the case may be. So I use Poshmark and Mercari as well. I typically use those when I'm selling used shoes, and I'll do it for less valued items. So if I'm selling a shoe that's worth $1,000, right, regardless of what I bought it for, I'm typically not gonna go through a Poshmark or Mercari. One, it's less likely to sell there, and two, I don't wanna say they're sketchy, but there's more room for you to kind of get scammed as the seller. And so I prefer to go something legitimate like a StockX or a GOAT when I'm selling a more high value priced, if you will, shoe. And then of course you have like OfferUp, which you all know. And then you can sell in person. There's a lot of like sneaker stores that will buy sneakers and then resell them on their own storefront. And so sometimes I'll go to in-person sneaker stores that will buy my shoes and then resell them. I like to go there if I just want to get rid of my shoes quickly as well, because they typically will purchase for a little bit less than you can get at like a Go or StockX. But the good thing is you don't have to wait, right? You can go there, they'll buy your shoes, you'll get your check or your cash right then and there, and you're done with it. And so sometimes when I'm just like, I just need to offload this quick, I'll go there, I'll sell them all, be done, and I'll take my financial losses for the sake of convenience. So those are all the places that I like to sell. Now, when I talk prices, you'll hear what I bought them for. So that's what I bought them for, including all taxes and fees, shipping, etc. So it's the total price that I paid for the shoe. And when I talk about what I sold them for, you're going to hear the price that I actually cashed out after all taxes and fees and anything else that the sites may have. So most sites that you're selling at have some sort of fee, right? I may sell the shoe for $300, but after the site takes their 10% commission and, you know, their cash out fee and whatever other random fees they like to put on, you know, your take home may only be $250. So I will say the $250 versus the $300 to give you a more accurate amount that I'm actually in my bank, in my pocket. So just be aware of that. I feel like, oh wow, you sold that really low. It's like, well, I sold it at this amount, but this is how much I got. And so I just want to make sure I'm transparent with what I got. And I'm trying to think of like the best way to keep track about like what I spent and what I made, because it's a lot of shoes and it can be hard to keep track. So I'm gonna try to kind of put a counter on the screen so that way you kind of know where we are and know what we're profiting on. And so just to give you an idea, here are all the shoes that I'm currently selling. So I'm gonna plop them on the screen. It's hecka. There's a lot of shoes in there, and just keep in mind, again, some of them I bought to resell, so I got them at retail, and some of them I bought resell for the intention of wearing that I never did. So those are gonna look a little different when I sell it versus my other ones. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So let's start light and let's start with Mercari. So I actually only sold one pair on Mercari, and those were the Concept Air Max ones. These were actually really hard to sell because they had a high retail and they released a lot of stock. And so I bought them thinking that they were gonna be a great shoe to flip. But it honestly, after taxes, it ended up being like $187 for the shoe. And most people on these sites were only willing to pay like $200. And yes, it's more, but remember there's taxes and fees. So even after taxes and fees, you're still gonna make less than actually what you paid out, or actually what you bought them for, unless you have somebody locally you can sell them to. So really, I bought them for $187, and after taxes and fees, the amount that I made from the transaction was $177. So I ended up losing $10 on that shoe, but honestly, I just needed to get rid of it at that point because for me, I didn't see that value going up anytime soon. Okay, so the next place that I sold shoes was a place called Impossible Kicks, and this is a shoe store. They have them all over the country, like Florida, Texas, wherever, but they had one in the Denver Mall. And so I was like, okay, let me bring my shoes there, see what they want to purchase, because I know that they're spinning up and they said that they're buying heavy, whatever. So I went and I took a few shoes, and they did decide to buy 2 pairs. So essentially what they bought was, they bought a pair of Dunks that I had, and they bought a pair of Yeezy 350s. So the Dunks I actually paid resale on because I intended to keep them for myself, but I just never wore them, and so I was like, let me get rid of them. So I bought the Panda Dunks, which Nike has released an insane amount of, for $253, and Impossible Kicks was only willing to pay $225. I sold them anyway, only because I knew Nike was going to keep releasing these shoes. So like holding it is not gonna make the value go up. The value is gonna continue to go down. So like, you know what, let me just sell them. I didn't want them anyway, so I sold it. And then for the Yeezy 350s, I got those off of the Adidas Confirmed app. And they were the like white cream color, whatever, I can't remember what the name is. But I sold those, and I bought those for $252 after taxes and fees, and I sold for $260. So I did make some on that, but I lost on the Dunks. So in total, I lost $20. So honestly, I'm not off to a good start here. I lost $10 with my sell on Mercari, $20 with my total for Impossible Kicks. So I'm $30 in the hole so far. So as you can see, this reselling thing, like I should keep my day job. But let's go ahead and get into the next one. So next, let's talk StockX. Now, I'm typically more of a GOAT person than StockX, just because GOAT's always done right by me, and I've had some experiences with StockX, but in this case, I posted it everywhere, like I said, so I did end up selling 2 pairs of shoes on StockX. So for StockX, I had a pair of size, which is a shoe store, Nike Dunks, which was a collaboration, and I bought those for $160 and I sold them for $287, so that was a great profit for me. And then I also had a pair of grade school Dunk Lows, which is like the gray two-tone ones, that I bought for $92. I just got those on the Nike site and I sold for $133. So in total, for StockX, I made $168, which is great because it finally, now I'm in the positive, I'm in the green now. So StockX started off right. So we have to get into GOAT because honestly, GOAT is where I sold the majority of my shoes. So like I said, for GOAT, I sold the majority of my 15, 16 pairs on here. So we have a lot to get through. Let's jump right into it. So the 2 shoes, there's 2 shoes that I actually bought for myself intending to wear that I didn't wear. So again, I paid resale for those and ended up having to sell resale as well. So the margins are gonna be not great. So I bought the Harvest Dunk Lows for $279. And once I sold them, I was only able to get back $230. And I bought the Fragment Sakai waffles in gray and I got those for $454. And I was only able to sell for $411. So I lost $92 between those 2 shoes. Now I could have held and found better ways to sell them, but I didn't want to keep them around. I was like ready to get stuff out of my closet. And that's okay though, because I make up for it with all the shoes I actually bought to resell. So I actually ended up losing $92 between just those 2 shoes that I had bought with the intention of wearing and never wore. And to be honest, I could have gotten better prices if I decided to be a little bit more patient and find other places to sell them. But in this case, I wanted to clear out my closet. Like I was in a state where I was like, you know what, just get rid of them. And so I decided to go the quickest way, but that is okay because honestly, I make up for that loss with all the other shoes that I actually bought to resell. So let's get into that. I got the Jordan 1 Low Chicago golf shoes actually for $152 and I sold that for $200. I also bought the Nike Dunk Low Bulls. It was grade school, so I got those for $92 and I sold those for $105. So a little bit of a profit on that one. I also lucked up on a skate shop raffle close to my house in Denver, and I bought the Kentucky Dunk High in-store onlys, and I got those for $120 and I sold those for $144. I also lucked up on the sneakers app and got the patent bred Jordan 1 highs for $185 and sold those for $310. Those were actually a great shoe to sell. Those ones, honestly, of all the shoes that I got, those would have been the ones that I would have held on for longer because I honestly saw that price going up and I don't think they're gonna restock those again anytime soon. But again, I was just gonna say, I was like, get rid of it. But honestly, I should have probably kept those because I do think in a year, those will go up significantly. The other one I had the Polaroid Dunk Low SB and I got those for $132 and sold for $154. These are actually ones I was surprised about because I thought these would go for a lot more than they did. But you know, I had a small size. I think I had them in like a 7 or 7.5. And so I ended up selling those and didn't get a ton of profit, but profit nonetheless. I did get some Yeezy slides in the oak colorway and I got those for $76 off Dick's Sporting Goods and sold those for $140. Honestly, Yeezy slides are fantastic to get to resell. They hold their value really well, even though they sell so many of them. Like, you can always get a decent chunk of change, right? Yeah, and it's not gonna be life-changing money, but you can get a lot of pairs of them and you can flip and you'll always get some profit. So my suggestion is if you're able to get your hands on some Yeezy slides, definitely go and flip those because they're releasing them like what feels like every other week. So get as many as you can and definitely flip those even if it's small profit. You know, high quantity, the numbers add up. I also got a pair of green Dunk Low SBs for $115 and sold those for $232. I actually got those off the Premier raffle. It was my first time winning on that, and so that was a great flip for me. I actually wish they were my size. They weren't my size, so I went ahead and let them go. And then the last shoe I had was, I had the Dunk Low Fossil Rose, and I got those for $145 and sold those for $161. I actually won those off of a Foot Patrol raffle, so I ended up getting that. And so in total, I made $337 from what I sold on Go. And I actually didn't end up selling anything on OfferUp or Poshmark, and so nothing to cover for those. So at the end of it all, and I have to look down at my notes for this number, but I spent $2,694, and I made $3,169 for a total profit of $475. Is that great? No, not really. No, it's not. It was not worth holding for that long, because at the end of the day, right, it's almost $2,700 that you have kind of sitting in your closet, that you're waiting to kind of like get your money back on, all for just a $475 profit. That's not that great. But what I will say is, if I take out the shoes that I bought with the intention of wearing and just ended up reselling because I never got to it, then the numbers look a little better. So that's probably a more accurate picture of me actually reselling. So if you take out the shoes that I actually bought at retail and resold, the numbers are, I spent $1,708 and made $2,303, which is a $595 profit. And that is great, right? Like, that is actually a pretty good number. What is that, like 30% ROI? I think so. This math, I don't know. But that actually looks a lot better, makes me feel better. So I will say, I think there's a lot of things that I probably learned from it. One, you can't just be one way or another, right? You can't just sell everything right away. For all shoes, you can't hold all shoes. Not all shoes are worth holding. So I need to be more intentional about the shoes that I sell quickly and the shoes that I hold, and make sure if I am holding, I do it strategically and not for just all of the shoes. But overall, let me know what you think. What do you think about what I sold the shoes for? Some too high, too low? Do you think I played myself in some of the different sells that I did? Do you have any reselling strategies that you swear by, that you feel like I should use, or like things, tricks of the trades that you've learned over time, no matter what you're reselling? Definitely let me know. If you're interested in any of the things that I've mentioned, whether it be the Solo Retriever app or, you know, StockX, Go, Poshmark, Mercari, whatever, and you're just looking for those links, feel free to check out the description. But anyways, thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one.